you were asking how we met or whatever. Yeah, we had a blind date because of Teshke and his girlfriend, and so I said, yeah, well, yeah, we'll do it. Well, I didn't have a car, and so he and and Joanne, the sister of Lee's friend, what's my point? They came over. We had a blind date. So he came over in his Ford hot rod, and we went out for a date. The thing I've never told anybody was that I thought she was very nice. We we went to Raceway Speedway, which was hot rods. She had, I believe, a suit and white gloves. So we went and watched it, and one of her gloves dropped down through the stands below. So I went and got it. Later on, I found out that she thought that was a wonderful thing. That was the first date, and I intentionally did not try to kiss her. Well, it turns out that she thought that was wonderful. So the second date, I forgot what we did, but I did kiss her, and that was the start of a long love affair. It had to be 50 because we got married in 51. And I really felt I was in love with her. We went out the fall and the winter, and on Valentine's Day, like a jerk that didn't know what, we were talking about having children and everything. I think naturally you do what you love. Well, I thought I'd get engaged on Valentine's Day, 1951. So actually I went out and bought, I had no money, but I bought, I might have bought an engagement ring and a wedding ring. I must have done that. So when we went out or came home to her place, I gave her a engagement ring. We were laying on the rug or something, and I just did it, and you understand. And she was delighted. And what she said something about, well, we'll have to talk about a wedding date. I thought, what the hell are you talking about, a wedding date? I was stupid enough to, I guess, not think ahead that I was asking her to marry me. So that was the screwy part of it. No, I didn't well, I'm stupid. For some reason, I loved her so much, I thought we we should get serious. So I gave her the engagement ring, and I guess I stopped thinking, but but she didn't. She started to talk about when we're going to get married, which I think was fine. And then we went on to have you little farts and all that stuff. Oh yeah, well, geez, you don't have enough. Well, we got married, and I was sick of Chicago. I was out of the service. Lee's dad, folks had a cottage in LaPorte, Indiana. We had met a lot of their friends, obviously, through marriage or through before marriage. And one guy said, well, you ought to, maybe I can say a word to people at Alice Chalmers, which was one of the biggest industries in LaPorte, about getting a job. So that'd be great. So that's what he did, and we thought we had, I'm going to skip forward real quick. We bought a trailer, an old trailer, had it towed to the lot next to her folks' cottage, and this was right after we were married, and we lived in that trailer, which is a whole other story. Everything was the best. That trailer was a dump. It leaked. I found a big cube of road tar, and it leaked so bad. I got this thing and I boiled the tar, heated the tar, and tried to seal up this thing. It was wonderful. Two people in love. Didn't matter. We could do anything. In fact, one of my high school friends said, "You're crazy. You're going to marry her, and she's going to be sick all of her life." When you love someone, you love. Doesn't matter what else is. That's the key. I don't think so. What the problem was here, that all of the people from Beverly and Morgan Park had one great gynecologist.
Okay.
And people fought to get him. Well, she had been going to him, and she had a lot of problems that way. When we got to LaPorte, on the 2nd, 1954, I think, or 52, anyway, she had problems and went to a Dr. Fisher there, who was a student of her Chicago gynecologist. And we went this particular time, and he said, "You know, you've got a big problem. You've got a fallopian tube pregnancy, and if it's not taken care of, you're going to die."
Wow.
Well, we're two kids, I think married 2 years. So we said, well, we'll go back to Chicago. You can't do that. You might die on the way, might break. So we said, okay, operate. So he operated, and it didn't turn out to be that. It was a cystic ovary, but he had, while he was opening her up, took out her appendix.
Mm-hmm.
So that happened, and the next year, I think, she was pregnant. She was almost dying.
Okay.
What turned out to be the results of his operation and appendix operation. She had bowel adhesions,
Okay.
which closed off the bowel,
Right.
which was life or death.
Right.
So they had to go in and cut out a big hunk of bowel,
Right.
and ensued in saving her that way,
Yeah.
aborted the child. When they performed the operation,
Mm-hmm.
she aborted the child
Yeah.
and saved her. She
Okay.
went in white and came out pink. After several jobs, I was selling tombstones. In so doing, I had a nice, I think they call it it's Wisconsin, beautiful red granite.
Uh-huh.
I had an old tombstone, and that's what I had it out at the mailbox.
Wow. Very cool.
When the baby was aborted, I had baby Shellstrom and put it
Wow.
in a Patton Cemetery in LaPorte, Indiana.
Yeah.
It was a girl.
It was a girl. Wow.
Boy, that's
Yeah.
well, a lot happened in those 5 years. 1951 we moved there.
Yeah.
1955 I was joined Alice Chalmers
Mm-hmm.
to work. In 6 months I quit because these clowns, I was put in the accounting department. I could not even fathom that. And in the meantime, these guys, I was, I don't know, 22, 23, they're 30, whatever, bitching about working there. I said, why the hell don't you quit? If you don't like it, quit. Nobody ever quit. So I quit. So there was no future. It couldn't stand writing in ledgers.
Okay.
So then I got a job building houses with a contractor. I became a store manager for Goodyear Tire, selling rubber or tires, refrigerators, stoves, everything. I did drawing maps on part-time for the LaPorte County. Somebody knew that I did. The doctor that saved Lee lived down the island from us, and he did this for nothing. We were broke. He would stop when I had flu. He'd stop at our house and say, pull down your pants, give me a shot of penicillin, and to pay him back, I dug. It was so deep that I had a regular shovel, which is about 5 foot, that I could dig and just barely throw out of the top. But I did that, put the block lining around, and then I built cabinets for him in his house, and that he took for my repayment of his services. He was a retired Frank Mead, a wonderful guy. During these 5 years, we met a lot of people, even though we're poor. Some of them were from New York Blower. And in 1950, 1954. We were really, really hard up. And one of our friends that we met sent me a Christmas card saying, Merry Christmas, there might be a job opening at New York Blower. Why don't you, if you're interested, contact Jack Trickler. Well, I thought, what the hell, I'll talk to Jack Trickler. Now we had nothing. We were out of gas. So I called Jack Trickler and said that Don Overmeyer said there might be a job opening of a sales engineer. And I talked to him, and he wasn't chief engineer. He was a fairly young guy, but he was the son of